We got a Super Bowl champ in the house today. Rick Doc Walker joins me. Doc, how are you?
Oh, I'm better than ever, man. How would you be on a 3-game win streak when you didn't have to break a sweat and all we get the chance to do back and laugh and celebrate? It was a great team victory. I thought the best victory of the Ron Rivera era because of the quality of the opponent.
We haven't had many 3-game win streaks around here. What does it do for the young kids? It's one of the youngest teams in the league.
Well, when you get guys that played on great programs, and we've talked often about Alabama, they are used to this, and they've been depressed. They've been in a fog. Now they break out of it. You get a guy like DeShazor Everett, who's my favorite player. He brings the wood. We've had more drop passes when he's on the field than we've had since we saw Sean Taylor. It's striking the fear of God into your opponents. CeeDee Lamb, he don't ever want to see that burgundy helmet coming at him again. And so the Steelers, it was really, I could not believe the number of dropped passes that they had. I couldn't get over it. It's a record for them. And it's because they heard footsteps.
I've been on the DeShazor Everett apology tour this year. I always knew he could play. I just didn't realize he could play free safety. And maybe in the current NFL, one's not necessarily different than the other. I don't believe that. I think they've been having him out in space, and he's been excellent there.
Tell you what, you and I might have been able to steal a few reps if we had Montez Sweat and Chase Young coming off the edge. Let's not kid ourselves. Daron Payne, John Allen, Tim Seville coming up the gut. The difference is that we can put pressure on people with 4.
Right.
And then when Jack Del Rio six the dogs after him, it's a wrap.
It feels like it's been a long time since we've had a guy like Chase Young with the energy, with the swagger. We've got plenty of dogs on that defense. He's a little something different, isn't he?
Well, he's what you get when you draft second. This is what happens. You don't want to draft that high, but if you do, what you can't do is you can't miss. They didn't miss with Trent. They didn't miss with Big Nasty. Sheriff. What we've been horrible at is with our second-round picks. And this is where Sweat comes. We just stink up the joint. And how many guys have been through here that didn't stick? This kid's gonna stick. And I'll tell you what, this is a note to Mr. Snyder and all the owners. You better make sure you got your ducks in a row, because you're going to have to pay to play. Because these young boys, when they all start hitting that mark, you're going to have to pay them. Because there's so many of them.
I've been talking about that for a couple of weeks now.
And that's what you want. But that's good news. Yes. We've been paying guys that were bums. Now you're paying guys that can help you get back to the promised land.
It feels like we haven't had a staff like this in a while, Doc. In-game adjustments, halftime adjustments have been incredible. The offensive line coach needs a ton of credit. That group has been excellent. The tight end, that tight end coach has turned our guy into a stud, and who saw it?
Well, and you bring that out. I talk about Schweitzer, and I talk about Lucas, who came back, Sharp, who filled in. Now we have depth. The big Wahoo going left and right, coming back to right. Had one false start, but other than that, he's battling his butt off. He's good enough just to come out there, but his big body and long arms. But Moses right now is playing with purpose. Big Nasty came back, got nicked. Sheriff went out the game, but he came back. And that, to me, was a turning point in the ball game, because 67 been getting blown up, and they knew that would really cause the ripple in that protection. And because Smitty was starting to feel himself. Smitty was shaky early on, but then he found himself. The greatness that is of Smitty is that the dude has no quit in him. He figured it out. and they did it together. And they did all. It was the best game without Scary Terry leading them. Scary played hurt. He was. I thought he might be a scratch in the ball game. To me, he was our MVP again, because if he's not on that field, they just double 89. See, and they would have taken 82 out the game. But when 17's there, gave us some balance. And if we can just get 15 to catch the ball, it's over. I'm telling you, we're on the verge right now of collapsing a dam, like a dam opening up. If we will continue to stay humble, work hard, and then execute better. I'm telling you, man, December is how you measure football teams. And right now, I like us in December.
It feels like it's inappropriate to say the team doesn't have weapons anymore. They told us that for a long time, right? No weapons on offense. I feel like they've come a long way. I'm curious your thoughts as a former player with 89. Is that because he spent a lot of time with Alex Smith on the second unit? Does that help them have a better rapport? You think this is just because he's finally getting snaps?
He's a 5-star athlete that went to Alabama. What more do you need? Yeah. All he had to do was realize his potential, and then he's got the coaching now to help him graduate to the next level. It's almost impossible for any of us. Some of the guys are just so good, they don't really need coach. Guys are dependent upon coaching, strategy, training. If you think this medical staff doesn't deserve some credit for the first time that I can remember, that half our team is not out. They're actually playing in games. So let's call it for what it is. It's far from perfection, but they're all striving towards it. But if you don't see progress in this group, you're blind as a bat. They are, and now those 2 Giant games, you let it go, you blew it. You came off a bye week against the Giants in your backyard, and you weren't ready to play. That may come back to haunt you, or we may get a third shot at them somehow, some way. And we'll go to New York, no problem. Just be glad that you're at least amongst the 2 best teams now in the East. The Giants went down there and tapped the Seahawks. That's not easy to do. And what the Burgundy and Gold did in Pittsburgh had never been done this year. So I'll take where we are now. 2 teams headed in a collision course. And it's New York, and it's the football team. And so, I mean, let's just bring it on. Let's just keep this going.
Yep, it sets up nicely to get us to Philadelphia. They've got quarterback issues there, which quarterback, it makes me think about Alex Smith. They're going to have to name the comeback player award after him, won't they?
Oh, absolutely. And you don't get Ben. Look, Big Ben, his arm, his throwing arm, couldn't use it for whole season. So he's right there with him, with Alex. But Alex trumps him now by beating him. That was the importance of that victory to me. Otherwise, it's Laufenberg. It would have been Big Ben, because Big Ben, not only did he return, but he returned and they were undefeated. You're just sympathetic because Alex is on our team. If he were on another team, we wouldn't care that much about that. We'd go, wow, that's cool, man. But he's ours. And we saw what he did. Big Ben did it with the arm that he uses to make a living. It'd be like if Alex was the kicker and he was kicking with that leg. Now, that'd be a little different. What Alex is doing now is showing you that he's bionic. But then again, you probably knew that anyway, how the guy trains, how he works. Alex Smith could not have done what he's done if it wasn't already in him. He trained like a lunatic before the injury. He was first in the facility before the injury. Alex is not doing anything new. This is who he is. That's why he will ultimately be the comeback player of the year.
No doubt. And I read an article, I think Ben Standing did with Urban Meyer, who said that Alex was the first guy he ever met that just had that, didn't look it, but would rather rip your heart out than ever lose.
Yeah. He's a coach. I don't know what he'll do when it's all said and done. We'd have a better game if he would be in football. If there's some way for him to be in football, if I were an owner, I'd never let him leave my facility. ever. He is just, he's the best example in sports when it comes to perseverance and unselfishness and being team driven. He is the ultimate example of a team guy who just happens to play quarterback. And to me, it's a priceless asset. I would never let him leave my building if I had any influence in their organization.
When is the last time we had a win like this? 2015 against the Eagles, maybe?
Yeah, maybe there. I thought the best win I felt about was when Kirk Cousins played his tail off in Philadelphia. We beat the Eagles to win it. I just thought that was the best I'd seen us on all three phases. See, special teams stood up. We had a return. We had kicks. We covered the ball well. We played like we cared. We played like it was December. Somebody convinced us that it is now or never. And we had that sense of urgency. I love the new look. Coach brought them out. They came out, in the pale white. And I thought it was good. It's a good identity transformation for them. Because they're still trying to find yourself. You're still like, well, who am I? What's my name? They've changed everything. So this team, I thought that was a huge step. Good look, good performance, great results.
You a fan of the numbers on the side of the helmet?
Yeah, I am now. But I'm a big fan of Penn State's uniform and Alabama's uniform.
Yeah.
Because it don't matter what the uniform is. What matters is what your record is. And you win enough games, Alabama's uniforms they don't look too bad. But when in reality, there's nothing to them. It's not about their uniform.
That's right.
It's about the scoreboard with them. And so now we looking like Alabama to a degree, but we got to play like them. You got to build up that reputation. I remember people laughed at Penn State all the time. It's not so funny when they win 80 or 90% of the games. So, it's like play like a champion. Come out and and that's where we are. I like it. I'm right now. I keep the name, the football team. I'm all in with it.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but you've been on that for a little bit with the suggestion that they just go by burgundy and gold, right? Which I have championed.
Yeah, as soon as I found out the name was offensive over a decade ago, I said, okay, I drop it. And I go to burgundy and gold. Or sweat hogs. Now, if they win sweat hogs, I'd love that. Big old ugly hog, all warded up. I wish that was our logo. But the football team, to me, separates you. It's like the Steelers. They only have one emblem on the helmet. They have no cheerleaders. 5 teams, no cheerleaders. So we come up with no nickname. The football team. Nobody else can take it because they may be 32, but we're the only one that's referred to as the football team. Now, you put a record behind that, believe me, there'll be more gear sold with people just saying our football team. I can see it right now. It's going to be everywhere if they win. Now, if they lay an egg, yeah, then you go and name them the pigtail, ponytail, whatever you want. It's not going to matter. But for one time now, we don't rush into things. We've rushed into more bad decisions in 20 years here than you can stick a stick at, okay? We're going to take our time. Wow. And we're going to do this the right way. And we're also going to involve the fan base and really let everybody collectively be a part of it. I'm not mad at it. I think football team will win.
I'm with you. I think it will too. I've been saying that for a little while now. Tell me, Doc, how big of a deal is the big toe? Antonio Gibson went out. It's amazing how one toe on the foot could just derail you. Is that something that you think is going to cost him significant time?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, now again, I'm no physician.
Good.
I don't know the severity of the injury, and they would be ignorant to let any of us know. If it's really bad, you can stick a fork in him because he's a cut guy. The only thing worse is if one of our big hogs up front and they got to block and they got to put 340 pounds on a man with a bad toe. They can fix your shoe They can make it so his toe won't bend in the shoe. He's so fluid. He was just at the part of his career, he was about to rip this league up. And now maybe it's not as bad as they think it is. Maybe after a boot and ice, maybe they can tape and manipulate it in a way that he can be 80% of himself. But we got 3. Let him heal. I say, man, if a week helps you, we got more than a week now because of the schedule. Take it. Take it. You won without him against the Steelers. Okay, so try your luck the following week. See if we can grab another one, steal another one, and then maybe get him back, because you can't be as good as you would have been without him. He's that important.
Doc, I love the origin of a nickname. I'd love to know how you end up becoming doctor.
Well, as most really good stories, they never end with the camera on. But once the camera's cut off, we can deal with that. Just believe me. We did have 3 Rickies at one time, all serious aside. Ricky Klatt, Ricky Thompson, and myself. And Coach Gills would be on the board. We didn't know who he was yelling at. So, it was like one was a back, one was a wide receiver, one was a tight end. So it just became a little easier for him to say, well, Doc, because he heard, people call. He'd call me that. They call Klatt. And then Ricky Thompson got to be Ricky. So Ricky Klatt and Doc. And we kind of eased up that in the meeting room. That's how it started unofficially.
You've got the new show you've been doing for the football team.
The
Legacy. Who comes on next week?
Doug Williams will be the next one you see. Douglas. And then I'm going to tape Joe Washington tomorrow.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, and get you some Go-Go Washington. And then I'm going to get my quarterback on Theismann, and then I want Rippon. I just want at least all 3 of the guys who have kissed the Lombardi to really share what that was like. There's no better position to be in other than president, is being quarterback for the Burgundy and Gold. And I want to make sure that our listening audience gets a chance to hear it from the guys who actually did it.
Do you think those quarterbacks will assume that Alex Smith will be the quarterback next year?
I don't know. I don't do the fortune telling thing. I know he's going to start Sunday, and I'm counting on him to be there for Sunday. Everything else, I wouldn't mind it. I think the organization is better off if Alex does not sustain any other injuries, finishes this year strong, we go to the playoffs, win a game or 2, and he comes back. And now here's the key, the virus. And if the vaccine is legit and we start changing our way of life to where there can actually be a OTAs next May and June, it hurt everybody across the league. But if we can get back to a training camp, I'll even take, not till July, but if they can go to camp next year, and you keep Haskins, and you also get Jones back. Allen, pardon me.
Kyle
Allen. Wow. See, I want a quarterback room that everybody can play.
Yep.
I don't want to go, Alex got hurt, we're done. No. Then let's just keep going, because Allen, he was flashing.
He was.
Smitty's better than all of them in their sleep combined. That's why he was the first pick in the draft. But his experience, and because he's not a jerk and he's not insecure, that's what I love about him. I hate insecure men.
Yeah.
There's nothing that drives me I hate that. This dude he's the alpha. He will help you. He knows you still can't beat him out, but he's not going to retard your growth because he has no ego when it comes to that, because he knows he's superior to you, because he beats you right here, and there's nothing you can do about it. And so those other guys, they're young, they're immature, they're questioning one guy's work ethic. How the hell are he going to beat Alex Smith out? Never in life, okay? And so you got to be durable, you got to be intelligent, and you got to be competitive. I would love to have those 3 guys all in one room for an entire season. And then if he passes the baton off into because money, unless we win big, then I'll pay him again. Because I can't get enough of Alex Smith. I just can't. And if he walks away from the game, if I were his wife, I would hope he walks away from the game. And if so, our quarterback room will be better. What I don't want to do is start all over.
Yep. It's interesting, Doc. You brought up the time they had for offseason preparation.
Yeah.
Rivera told us over and over again how much that had hurt them. And you could tell that they gave them the playbook in chunks this year. I think particularly on defense, they don't look nearly as lost this year as they did last year. And I'm not here to talk about the previous staff. They're not here anymore, but I'm here to talk about when Jack Del Rio was talking about we didn't put too much on them right away. And I think it showed all around that the teams looked really good.
No question. I mean, they ought to be – this could be a great holiday season despite COVID if we just stay. And the best thing they've done is they've not had a current player infected.
Yes.
Ioannidis wasn't even part of it. I mean, he's on IR. Other than that, I can tell you what, I don't miss what they've got to go through every day. You can't imagine having that swab stuck up your nose every day, going through all this stuff, temperature, but they're getting it done. To their credit, they are handling this situation like professionals. And I don't know what it's like to be rich and to be in a city and then been told what I can't do. I would imagine that's quite a problem when money's not an issue, but yet you've been told not to go, don't do this, don't do that. That to me would be, that's a nice problem, though, to try to figure out. But I respect all the way across the league. The league, as the most part, has done the job. You've had a couple of jerks that have heard it and it's killed their team. I don't know what happened in Baltimore because they're one of my favorite franchises because how they do business. But they blew it on this one. Somebody broke protocol, and it might have cost them a season.
Doctor, what do we got to do to win against the 49ers?
Hey, we got to respect the process, meaning that the records are irrelevant. Be fearful of the Niners. Don't buy into all the people that are hurt. That's a trap, okay? They're good enough to beat you. They played a Buffalo team. Man, they played them neck to neck. They didn't have enough talent to beat Buffalo, but Buffalo has way more talent than we do. So be humble, but come out in attack mode, just like you did in Pittsburgh. And go in with the idea that you're on the road. Don't expect anything to be given. Take everything you want. And if they do that, we're good enough to play with anybody if we'll play smart football.
Doc, thank you so much. This was great.
Anytime football team. All right, dude.
Thanks.
Let me know if it works.
I will. Thanks, Doc.
Later.